there, I'm Janette Lane, and in today's video I'm sharing how to make this partially die cut aperture card. I know that sounds a little bit complicated, but I'm going to show you how to make this card from start to finish using the latest exclusive card making kit from Hunkydory. Now I'm really excited about this card because while I used the hot air balloon 6-in-1 die set that comes with the Hunkydory kit, you can easily take this technique and apply it to all of your other projects and use any die. So it's really easy, and it's just one of those techniques that you kind of want to have in your crafty back pocket, so to speak, and you can pull it out and use it with not just cards but other projects as well. So the first thing you want to do is take a piece of white cardstock and cut it down to a square. So you can do 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches or 6 by 6 inches. I went with 6 by 6 inches just to make it easy. And then what I'm going to do is take a ruler and a pencil and draw a border all the way around about 1 centimeter wide, all the way around, just to use as a guide for when I'm doing my partial die cutting. Like I mentioned, I'm just doing a 1 centimeter wide border with my pencil all the way around my card. Now, if you would like a thicker frame around your card, you can definitely widen this up, make it 2 centimeters. It's up to you. I'm just doing the 1 centimeter. I just felt that was a good size. Here is my penciled border. You can see it very faintly. And what I'm gonna do next is a little bit of partial die cutting. Now, if you're new to partial die cutting, all that means is I'm gonna run my die through my machine with my paper, of course, but I'm gonna leave some of the die hanging off of the edge of my platform so that it doesn't cut through. So it's only partially die cutting. Now, this is probably the trickiest part about this whole project, but it's really easy. It gets easier, I feel, the more practice that you get. So here I am taking my die and I'm putting it over the first pencil border here. And I'm going to put my cutting pad on top and complete my sandwich. And then I want to make sure that everything is lined up on my pencil border. Now let me pull this out so you can take a closer look. So my sandwich ends right about here at the line. So let me flip that so you can see that the paper and the die are hanging outside of my Sizzix sandwich. And when I roll that through, it's not going to cut this portion. So we're going to roll that through. Now when I open this up, you can see that it didn't cut to the edge, which is exactly what we wanted. So we just wanted this little flap. And what's really fun is that you can apply the same technique. I'm gonna be trimming off some of this excess later, but you can apply this technique and kind of make little like floppy windows and put a message, a secret message behind. That would also be a really cute project. Okay, so now I'm gonna repeat the same process. So I'm gonna put, let's see, I'm gonna do this one maybe at an angle right about there. So same thing, I'm going to set my platform up. I'm gonna make sure that this edge is hanging off of the sandwich, the platform. And then we're going to top this with our cutting pad, our last cutting pad on top. I want to also make sure that the edge of the die doesn't come off of the paper. So make sure that there's still just a little bit of paper right there on the edge of that die. And you kind of want to check under here and make sure that the cutting platform isn't there, because then it is going to cut through. But if you messed up, you know what? That's okay too, because you can just grab another piece of paper and start over. I feel like as crafters, sometimes we're a little bit hard on ourselves when things don't go according to plan, or maybe it's not as easy as you saw in the YouTube tutorial. Don't worry, it's okay. Just grab another paper and start all over again. Okay, so now I'm gonna take this medium-sized balloon and I wanna do the bottom. So I'm not going to die cut this bottom piece. Now I wanna make sure that the edge of my die and also my paper is not on the cutting platform, which we're fine. And we're gonna roll that through. Now I know I must sound like a broken record as I'm repeating all these steps over and over again, but it's for any beginners that are tuning in that are new to partial die cutting. But honestly, it's also for myself because I know that if I don't repeat the steps in my head, I might mess up. So really it's for beginners as much as it is for myself. Okay, so all my balloons are die cut, and now I wanted to do a little cloud. So I'm going to do a partial die cut of the cloud here and also at the top edge. So let me do that. Here's what my card looks like. So we have our 4 hot air balloons and also our little clouds up here, partially die cut. Now at this point, if you would like to do, like I mentioned earlier, like a secret little message kind of floppy window, you can do that. Maybe add some score lines here to make sure that the recipient knows that these open and close. But what I'm gonna do to create my aperture is die cut, sorry, not die cut, but use an X-cut knife to a craft knife to just trim off this excess. But I want to make sure that I don't accidentally trim off some of my partial die cuts here. So what I'm going to do is take a pencil and extend the lines of my image to the border, my little penciled in border. So here, I don't know if you can see that, but my little cloud didn't die cut all the way to the edge of the border, but that's okay because I can just cut that with a pencil. I'm sorry, not with a pencil. That would be really interesting to cut that with my craft knife. So there I'm just completing, just extending that die cut line to the edge. And then I'm going to take my craft knife and go all around these edges here to create my aperture window. So now that I've cut off this piece and also removed the intricate fallout from my die, now I can take my eraser and get rid of all those unseemly pencil marks. My pencil marks are gone, and for this next bit I wanted to do a little bit of stamping using the stamp set that's included in the kit. So we have this rope stamp, and what I love about the way the stamp is designed is that you can do a continuing pattern with it. So I'm gonna do a ropey border around my card, and for my ink I'm gonna be using Tet from Die Eyes Ink, which is the Aladdin inks. Really great inks, they're really juicy. Okay, so I'm gonna ink up my stamp, and I'm just gonna grab a scrap piece of paper, and I'm going to make sure that I don't get any ink on my hot air balloons, because then they'll be brown and that won't be as pretty. So I'm just gonna block off. So I'm just gonna start stamping my ropey pattern. So here's what my card looks like so far. I've got my rope border stamped all around, and next I want to put my backing card on this. Now, on the way to the studio, I had an accident with the Eyes Ink Tet ink. I'm so sad about this, but I'm still gonna use this because it's a lovely pattern. This is from the kit, one of the exclusive designer collections that are included in the Hunkydory kit, and this little ink pad just popped open on the way to the studio, and it made a sad little mess there, but it's okay. I'm gonna just trim that off, and I'm gonna use the rest of the paper for my background. Okay, so I made some pencil marks so I know where to cut. But let me know if you've ever had a stamping accident of some sort when you were working on a project. If you have a moment, I would love to hear from you in the comment section. So here is my background all cut out, and I'm gonna glue this down in just a bit with some liquid adhesive. But I'm gonna grab my sentiment, which is also from the Hunkydory Kit, and this one says, take time to enjoy the simple things. So for that, I'm gonna be using archival ink in jet black. And let me just kind of put this back on and eyeball where I want my sentiment to go. My partially die cut aperture window is now glued down, and I'm going to mount that onto my card base, which I cut just so that I would have a nice little border here. And before I do that though, I wanted to add a touch of red. So I wanted to put some red twine, and I'm just gonna trim this. I love using twine in my projects. It just gives it a little bit more interest and a touch of texture. And honestly, I love the red on blue look. It's just really like nautical. It really reminds me of summertime. And lastly, I'm gonna add some pearls just for a little embellishment, so here and there throughout my card. And then I will be done. And for my pearls, for my adhesive that I've been using, I'm so sorry I didn't mention it earlier, it's a Cosmic Shimmer acrylic glue, and it dries clear. I really love this stuff. And for my pearls, I'm using the Anita's Pearl Wheel. Okay, and I'm done with my card. I hope that you enjoyed that tutorial and that you're able to grab your own copy of the latest Hunkydory card making kit. It's really fun, loving the summer themes, the summer vibe. I'm Janette Lane. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you really soon.